because I refused to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncer's gilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Razaban IFL TV proudly sponsored by Everlast. With me, Sugar Hill trainer, coach, Lawrence Okolie. Shug, firstly, just assess the fight from your perspective.
Yes, it's just some more improvements that has to be done. It's all going back to consistency with me, and yeah. Next question, so you can. I'm not like telling too much, but just ask me the questions. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, what was the game plan?
To box, be strong, stand up and box, and yeah, just have your own rhythm. So you could see he had the rhythm, and then you would see just a lot of stopping. He would just get the rhythm and then stop. So yeah, that was probably the main problem. You had the rhythm, and then we just stopped. So I don't know why exactly. Only he knows why, and it's just something that we have to talk about more and to correct.
We'll get to the knockdowns and stuff like a bit later, but in terms of the hugging, we saw him do this a lot in his early part of his career, and he looked like he had improved and work off his jab, which is he's got a long jab, as we all know. But why do you think he was in the clinch, was so close consistently with Chris Biller?
At some point, his spacing was off where I wanted him to punch at. And when they did get close, because they end up clashing heads and all that stuff too, so it wasn't just Lawrence at the same time. If you got two fighters going forward, that's kind of what you're going to have. So it's not like Lawrence was backing up and then clinching. It was when they was both going forward, a clinch was initiated. So a lot of times Lawrence was off balance, but obviously if anybody who's a human being is off balance, they're going to hold on to something. I mean, it's just human nature. Nobody just wants to fall. So, yeah, it was a lot of that going on, a little bit of off balance because they both kind of like using their strength on the inside. Both fighters were holding because if you're not holding, then you're not working on the inside. It's part of the boxing game. It's not just stand there, let you hit me, I hit you. Throughout boxing, it's just been holding. Holding, hit. The referees tell you, what do they say? One hand's free. So obviously that means it's holding and hitting. It's just not it's supposed to be an excessive holding, but if you're off balance, then what are you going to do? So yeah, it was a lot of that. Yeah, just a lot of, both the fighters were off balance. They've been in the ring with each other, so it was a lot of stuff going on. It was a very emotional fight, and yeah, Chris came out on top. He caught Lawrence, and I forget what round, but caught him with a good left hook and tried to finish it. It didn't happen. You know, obviously, if you're trying to finish it, then the other fighter does have the ability and the chance to hold at that point because he's hurt. I mean, it's not supposed to be just I grab you and I hold you. It's I grab you, I hold you. I'm trying to get position to work. But yeah, it's all just you know, left to interpretation, I guess, with the person in the ring, which is the referee, Marcus, right? Yeah.
Sure, you were born into boxing. You're very knowledgeable about the sport.
That's why I'm sitting here teaching now. So yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I'm speaking to you, and I'm asking the question and expecting answers from yourself. But the referee gave him a lot of warnings before taking points off. I spoke to Marcus McDonald, as you overheard me say to Lawrence Okolie. He said he was very, very close from disqualifying him. From your perspective, had he disqualified him at the end of the fight, would that have been unfair?
What do you mean, had he disqualified him at the end of the fight?
Well, what I mean is, at that last clinch where he took a point off, he said he was very close to disqualifying him. So I'm saying that would have been the end of the fight. Would that have been fair from your perspective if he got disqualified?
Not at all. I know he was getting a warning, but just because he warned him doesn't mean it was a fair warning. So had he done it, then no, I would have. I mean, obviously, I would have disagreed as I do now. So there's times in the fight where the other man's holding, but you don't call that. So you know, it's just, you know, everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. People get emotions. People, you know, you make a left turn when you didn't look to see if if you could make a left turn and you run into a car or something like that. So everybody's human. It's just this is the point where everybody has to do some learning. So yeah, there is a lot of learning to do with Lawrence and for other people for that matter, to make each person better, you know, even for myself. So there was nothing that I could do. I tried to have a conversation with the referee, and I thought you can talk to the referee in between the rounds, but he told me he didn't want to hear it. Go back to my corner. So we had some nice friendly words, no big deal. But it's just me expressing myself because of the things that I saw that were going on that I personally didn't agree with. But it's better for me to talk about it the right way to the referee than not say anything at all.
So was it, as the fight progressed into round 7, 8 and 9, it was clearly obvious that Lawrence was way behind with a couple of knockdowns and the points taken off?
If he was way behind, why was the scores 112, 112?
That was an awful...
That's why I was like, when I heard the crowd going boo, I'm like, why would they boo? Like, I know how the fight went, but why are they booing? It must have went Lawrence's way or something. Like, I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. People make mistakes.
That judge, I don't know what that judge was.
So what that meant, so it was called 3 knockdowns on Lawrence, and then 2 points taken away. I mean, how does it even get close like that? Honestly, unless you knocking the other guy down every other round. But I mean, who am I to say? I like things to be fair. So obviously, I don't agree with that scorecard. But who am I still?
I was going to say, when you realised that he was so behind on scorecard, at what stage did you tell him, Lawrence, I need you to let those hands go?
Oh, that would have been the first round. Yeah. Oh, you moving the mic now. Before you do like this and hold the mic still, like, I'm letting everybody know your secret. You go.
Stop it, show.
Now you're going like this now.
There's a rematch clause. Are you happy and content as his trainer that there's enough time in between to rectify those mistakes and go again and become a two-time world champion?
Listen, I'm always trying to help somebody. Lawrence, he knows the mistakes he's made, and he owns up to them. You know, he's not making any excuses. He knows things that he should have done, in which we wouldn't be in this position right now. So my observation in life is it's better when somebody understands the mistakes that they're making and they can improve on it versus them not even knowing at all.
Okay, Shug, thank you for a few moments of your time. I know it's late. It is...
Sorry to give away a little bit of your secret, like the little...
It's okay. I've got magic tools to edit things out, but I won't edit it out. I'll leave it in there, raw and uncut.
Let it be free. Let it be free. Let it flow. That's what I told Lauren. Let it flow. Let it flow. And he would just stop. And I'm like, But yeah, no. Listen, he's well. Chris is well. It was great for me. And I mean, that's not my fighter, but it was great for me because Chris and Lawrence have a relationship, and they've had this relationship. And I know how it is for 2 fighters in the same gym to be working to be champions, and one of them is, and one of them ain't, and one of them. I mean, listen, you couldn't write a better book about this story here, like, you know. And then to watch him to be so happy for all the work that he's done in there with his family. So, and I don't know him, like I said, but Lawrence knows him, so I can only go by what Lawrence, how he feels about it, and he stated that in the press conference that, you know, he loves the way he's with his family and things like that. So from the way I see how he carries himself, he's a very respectable man, and yeah, I mean, it was just happy for me to see him in that position, even though I don't like losing, but it's always some good that comes out of it. But to see him and his family down there was nice, because at some point it could be somebody else in that same situation, but it's just somebody having a happy moment. So I'm okay with that. In the world, you know, you need to have happy moments like that. So yeah, I mean, that's something you're gonna remember forever. Go down to your knees and your wife, and then yeah, I mean, that's the dream. That's the dream of a boxer, to have it and to be at home and to have it too. So yeah, congratulations to Chris, you know, for that. So yeah, that was a warm feeling.
Sure, safe travels back to the States. I know you fly out tomorrow, and yeah, we look forward to catching up with you when you're back here in the UK.
Do I fly back tomorrow or tonight? Because what day is it? Oh, I fly back today, not tomorrow.
Yeah, it is past midnight. It's 1:45.
I put a clock on you this time.
Sugar Hill, IFL TV, thank you very much.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,